Hello guys. Today we are going to read Self Sabotage. Change your circumstances by changing your attitude. The law of self sabotage. Each of us has a particular way of looking at the world, of interpreting events and the actions of people around us. This is our attitude, and it determines much of what happens to us in life. If our attitude is essentially fearful, we see the negative in every circumstance. We stop ourselves from taking chances. We blame others for mistakes and fail to learn from them. If we feel hostile or suspicious, we make others feel such emotions in our presence. We sabotage our career and relationships by unconsciously creating the circumstances we fear the most. The human attitude, however, is malleable. By making our attitude more positive, open, and tolerant of other people, we can spark a different dynamic. We can learn from the adversity, create opportunities out of nothing, and draw people to us. We must explore the limits of our willpower and how far it can take us. The greatest discovery of my generation is the fact that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. William James. Wow, what a quote. This is the quote of the day. Cues, Keys to human nature. We humans like to imagine that we have an objective knowledge of the world. We take it for granted that what we perceive on a daily basis is reality, this reality being more or less the same for everybody. But this is an illusion. No two people see or experience the world in the same way. What we perceive is our personal version of reality, one that is of our own creation. To realize this is a critical step in our understanding of human nature. Each of us sees the world through a particular lens that colors and shapes our perceptions. Let us call this lens our attitude. The great Swiss psychologist Carl Jung defined this in the following way. Attitude is a readiness of the psyche to act or react in a certain way. To have an attitude means to be ready for something definite, even though this something is unconscious. For having an attitude is synonymous with a priori orientation to a definite thing. Although attitudes come in many varieties and blends, we can generally categorize them as negative and narrow, positive and expansive. Negative and narrow, or positive and expansive. Okay, negative means narrow, positive means expansive. Those with a negative attitude tend to operate from a basic position of fear toward life. They unconsciously want to limit what they see and experience to give them more control. Those with a positive attitude have a much less fearful approach. They are open to new experiences, ideas, and emotions. If the attitude is like our lens on the world, the negative attitude narrows the aperture of this lens, and the positive variety expands it as far as possible. Your task as a student of human nature is twofold. First, you must become aware of your own attitude and how it lends your perceptions. It is hard to observe this in your day-to-day life because it is so close to you. but there are ways to catch glimpses of it in action. You can see it in how you judge people once they are out of your presence. Are you quick to po- are you quick to focus on their negative qualities and bad opinion? Or are you more generous and forgiving when it comes to their flaws? You will see definite signs of your attitude in how you face adversity or resistance. Are you quick to forget or gloss over any mistakes on your part? You will also catch signs of it in how people respond to you, particularly in a non-verbal way. Do you catch them being nervous or defensive in your presence? Once you have a good feel for the makeup of your own attitude, its negative or positive bent, you have much greater power to alter it. You to move it more in the positive direction. Second, acha, this is first and this is second. You must not only be aware of the role of your attitude, but also believe in this supreme power to alter your circumstances. The mind and the body are one, and your thoughts affect your physical responses. People can recover much more quickly from illness through sheer desire and willpower. Acha. Okay. People can recover much more quickly from illness through sheer desire and willpower. You are not born with fixed intelligence and inherent limits. See your brain as a miraculous organ designed for continuous, continual learning and improvement. Well, into old age, the rich neural connections in your brain, your creative power, are something you developed to the degree that you open yourself up to the new experiences and ideas. View problems and failures as means to learn and thought and toughen yourself up. You can get through anything with persistence. View the way people treat you as largely flowing from your own attitude, something you can control. Do not be afraid to exaggerate the role of willpower. It is an exaggeration with a purpose. It leads to a positive, self fulfilling dynamic, and that is all you care about. See this shaping of your attitude as your most important creation in life and never leave it to chance. The constricted negative attitude. Okay, so this is the attitude number one. People who feel particularly weak and vulnerable tend to adopt an attitude toward life that narrows what they experience so that they can reduce the possibility or unexpected events. Narrow means negative. I think I am right. Yeah, narrow means negative and narrow, or positive and expensive. Okay. The following are the five most common forms of the constricted attitude. Negative emotions have a binding power. A person who is angry is more prone to also feel suspicion, deep insecurities, resentment, etc. And so we often find a combination of these various negative attitudes, each one feeding and accentuating the other. Your goal is to recognize the various signs of such attitudes that exist in you in latent and latent and weakened forms, and to root them out, to see how they operate in a stronger version in other people, better understanding their perspective in life, and to learn how to handle people with such attitudes. So now this is attitude number 2, the hostile attitude. Some children exhibit a hostile attitude at a very early age. The child looks out on a world that seems fraught with hostility, and their answer is to seek to control it by becoming the source of the hostility themselves. As they get older, they become adept at stimulating anger and frustration in others, which justifies their original attitude. See, people are against me, I'm disliked, and for no apparent reason. In a relationship, a husband with a hostile attitude will accuse his wife of not really loving him. If she protests and becomes defensive, he will see this is a sign that she has to try hard to disguise the truth. If she is intimidated into silence, he sees that as a sign that he was right along. In her confusion, she can easily begin to feel some hostility on her part, confirming his opinion. People with this attitude have many other subtle tricks up their sleeve for provoking the hostility they secretly want to feel directed at them, withdrawing their cooperation on a project at just the wrong moment, constantly being late, doing a poor job, deliberately making an unfavorable first impression, but they never see themselves as playing any kind of role in instigating that reaction. If you notice signs of this attitude in yourself, such self awareness is a major step toward being able to get rid of it. You can also try a simple experiment approach. Approach people you are meeting for the first time or only know peripherally with various positive thoughts. I like them, they seem smart, etc. None of this is verbalized, but you do your best to feel such emotions. If they respond with something hostile or defensive, then perhaps the world is truly against you. More than likely, you will not see anything that could be remotely construed as negative. In fact, you will see the opposite. Clearly, then, the source of any hostile response is you. In dealing with the extremes of this type, struggle as best you can to not respond with the antagonism they expect. Maintain your neutrality. Confound them. This will confound them and temporarily put a stop to the game they are playing. The anxious attitude. These types anticipate all kinds of obstacles and difficulties in any situation they face. With people, they often expect some sort of criticism or even betrayal. All of this stimulates unusual amounts of anxiety before the fact. What they really fear is losing control of the situation. Their solution is to limit what can possibly happen, to narrow the world they deal with. They deal with. This means limiting where they go and what they will attempt. In a relationship, they will subtly dominate the domestic rituals and habits. They will seem brittle and demand extra careful attention. This will dissuade people from criticizing them. Everything must be on their terms. At work, they will be ferocious, perfectionist, and micromanagers, eventually sabotaging themselves by trying to keep on top of too many things. Once outside their comfort zone, the home or the relationship they dominate, they become unusually fretful. Hey Google, what is the meaning of fretful? Google? Hey Google. Why can't you listen to me, huh? Oh, I don't have a 5G phone. I have to Google it. Fretful, fretful meaning. What is the meaning of fretful? Behaving in a way that shows you are unhappy. Okay. So where was the... Whatever. So fretful. Oh, my neck hurts. Behaving in a way that you are feeling hurtful, unhappy. Where was the word? Hey, this one. Unhappy. Okay, so now where should I read here? Sometimes they can disguise their need for control as a form of love and concern. Another disguise similar to such love is to seek to please and cajole people in order to disarm any possible unpredictable and unfriendly action. If you notice such tendencies in yourself, the best antidote is to pour your energies into work. Okay. As long as you rein in your perfectionist tendencies, you can channel your need to control into something protective. With people, try to slowly open yourself to their habits and place of doing things instead of the opposite. Deliberately place yourself in the circumstances you most dread, discovering that your fears are grossly exaggerated. In dealing with those with this attitude, try to not feel infected with their anxiety and instead try to provide the soothing influence they so lacked in their earliest years. Okay, so I have found so many attitudes: negative attitude, hostile attitude, anxious attitude, which I am currently reading, and then the avoidant attitude. How many attitudes are there, man? This is one, this is two, this is three, this is four, this is five, this is six, this is seven. The expansive attitude, seven. Seven. Oh, only seven. The avoidant attitude. People with this attitude see the world through the lens of their insecurities, generally related to doubts about their competence and intelligence. As these people get older, their main goal in life is to avoid any kind of responsibility or challenge in which their self esteem might be at stake and for which they can be judged. If they do not try too hard in life, they cannot fail or be criticized. What? If they do not try hard in life, they cannot fail or be criticized. To enact this strategy, they will constantly seek escape routes. Consciously or unconsciously, they will find the perfect reason for leaving a job early and changing careers. On breaking off a relationship in the middle of in the breaking off a relationship. In the middle of some high stakes project, they will suddenly develop an illness that will cause them to leave. They are prone to all kinds of psychosomatic maladies, or they become alcoholics, addicts of some sort of, always falling off the wagon at the right time, but blaming this on the disease they have and their bad upbringing that caused their addiction. Other strategies will include wasting time and starting too late on something, always with some built in excuse for why what happened. They then cannot be blamed for the mediocre results. You can easily recognize such people by their checkered. You can easily recognize such people by their checkered careers and their short-term personal relationships. Huh? Wait a second. What the avoidant attitude? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So basically, the avoidant attitude types of people. They are just looking for a perfect reason to leave a job and early changing careers. Hmm. Wait, I have seen a person in my team who has done that. She has changed so many careers in her life. Hmm. So she's an avoidant person. Who knows? They then cannot be blamed for the mediocre results. You can easily recognize such people by their checkered careers and their short term personal relationships. They may try to disguise the source of their problems by seeming saintly. They look down on success and people who have to prove themselves. Do not be fooled by their holier than thou front they present. Look at their actions, the lack of accomplishments, the great projects they never start on, always with a good cause. Okay, this is the reason. If you notice traces of this attitude in yourself, a good strategy is to take on a project of even the smallest scale, taking it all the way to completion and embracing the prospect of failure. If you fail, you will have already cushioned the blow because you anticipated it, and inevitably it will not hurt as much as you had imagined. Your self esteem will rise because you finally tried something and finished it. Once you diminish this fear, progress will be easy. You will want to try again. You will want to try again, and if you succeed, all the better. Either way, you win. Okay, this is a good thing. Basically, this is the book called The Laws of Human Nature, and in this book, there are some attitude in chapter 7, or what to say? Yeah, chapter 8. Okay, in chapter 8, there are 7 types of attitude, and there are some problems or patterns given how to recognize these attitude, also the solution along with it. So you can read it, and you must read this book to understand yourself. Now, I'm going to read the depressive attitude, number 5. As children, these types did not feel loved or respected by their parents. For helpless children, it is too much to imagine that their parents could be wrong or flawed in their parenting. And so their defense is to often internalize the negative judgment and imagine that they are indeed unworthy of being loved, that there is something actually wrong with them. As adults, they will anticipate abandonment, loss, and sadness in their experiences and see signs of potentially depressing things in the world around them. A strategy they will employ throughout their life is to temporarily withdraw from life and from people. This will feed their depression and also make it something they can manage to some extent as opposed to traumatic experiences imposed upon them. These types often have a secret need to wound others, encouraging behavior as such as what? These types often have a secret need to wound others, encouraging behavior such as betrayal or criticism that will feed their depression. Oh my god. They will also sabotage themselves if they experience any kind of success, feeling deep down that they don't deserve it. Oh my god. They will develop blocks in their work or take criticism or mean they should not continue with their career. Depressive types can often attract people to them. Depressive types can often attract people to them because of their sensitive nature. They stimulate the desire to want to help them, but they will start to criticize and wound the ones who wish to help, then withdraw again. My god, are these kind of people psycho? I mean, they are the person who don't want to grow and they stop the growth of others too. This push and pull causes confusion, but once under their spell, it is hard to disengage from them without feeling guilty. They have a gift for making other people feel depressed. Oh my god, this is not a gift in their presence. This gives them more fuel to feed off. Most of us have depressive tendencies and movements. The best way to handle them is to be aware of their necessity. They are our bodies and minds' way of compelling us to slow down, to lower our energies and withdraw. The best way to handle recurrent depression is to channel your energies into work, yeah, especially the arts. I mean, creative works. You are used to withdrawing and being alone. Use such time to tap into your unconscious, externalize your unusual sensitivity and your dark feelings into the work itself. Never try to lift up depressive people by preaching to them about the wonderfulness of life. Instead, it is best to go along with their gloomy opinion of the world, while subtly drawing them into positive experiences that can elevate their moods and energy without any direct appeal. Okay. The resentful attitude. As children, these types never felt they got enough parental love and affection. My god, these kids, I don't know who are they. This sense of dissatisfaction and disappointment with them throughout their lives. They are experts at scanning people's faces for signs of possible disrespect or disdain. I think it's me. I mean, I can scan them. They see everything in relation to themselves if someone has more than they do. It is a sign of injustice, a personal affront. When they feel this lack of respect and recognition, they do not explode in anger. Okay. Instead, the hurt incubates inside them. The sense of injustice growing stronger as they reflect on this. They do not easily forget. At some point, they will take their revenge in some shadily plotted act of sabotage or passive aggression. Yeah, that is true. 132 and I'm 127. I was thinking to read till this one because it will be long. I think that's enough for today. I will read from 6 again. So that's it for today, guys. I'm tired. Yeah, that's it.